Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to just say thank you so much to Chairwoman Capito and Banking Member Whitehouse, Ranking Member Whitehouse, for your leadership on this committee and for holding today's hearing. I agree with you that we miss Senator Ben Cardin, but I am excited to be able to join this committee. EPW has jurisdiction over many issues that are important to Marylanders, and I look forward to working with both of you as well as all of our colleagues on this committee to address the environmental and infrastructure challenges that we face in our states. To Mr. Zeldin, congratulations again to you and to your family on your nomination. And thank you as well for your willingness to serve and for appearing before our committee today. I appreciate it. I very much enjoyed meeting with you and having the opportunity to speak with you. And so I suspect that my questions will come as no surprise to you based on that conversation. And in the interest of time here, I'd ask that as much as possible that you would answer yes or no to the following questions. Now, while in Congress, you work to ensure that EPA's efforts to restore the Long Island Sound were successful, including advocating for federal funding. Like Long Island Sound in New York and Connecticut, the Chesapeake Bay is an economic driver in Maryland and across the Bay watershed. The Bay is the nation's largest estuary and is one of the most productive fisheries in the United States. And so I ask you whether you would agree that restoring and protecting our nation's estuaries and watersheds is a shared responsibility between the states and the federal government.
Yes, Senator.
Furthermore, if confirmed, will you advocate for robust federal funding for regional restoration efforts across the country, including the Chesapeake Bay and for the National Estuary Program?
Yes, Senator. Ultimately, it will be up to Congress to decide on funding levels, and it'll be my obligation to make sure that money is spent to Congress's intent.
Thank you. Now, the EPA has said that no amount of lead in drinking water is safe, and lead in drinking water is particularly dangerous for children. The bipartisan infrastructure law, which you opposed as a member of Congress, made historic down payments on lead pipe replacement to ensure that communities across America have access to safe drinking water from lead contamination. If confirmed, will you build on the success of the bipartisan infrastructure law and support additional funding for lead pipe replacement?
Senator, yes to the same answer as my last question. Ultimately, it's going to be up to Congress to decide what the policy is, what the law is, what the funding level is. My commitment and my obligation will be to make sure that funding is spent to Congress's intent as laid out in those appropriations.
But you recognize that lead in water is a problem, particularly for children.
Yes, Senator.
And would you be able to commit to not cutting funding that would aid in replacement of these lead pipes?
Senator, if confirmed as administrator of the EPA, won't be cutting any funding. That's a decision as far as funding levels for Congress to set. Whatever funding level Congress decides upon is going to be the letter that is going to be the number that I am committed to fulfill my obligation of being a good steward of the tax dollars and spend to Congress's intent.
Okay. Now, the unofficial Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, has proposed laying off 75% of government workers. Across the federal government, their plan would result in more than 1.7 million civilian employees being laid off, including almost 500,000 veterans. If the Trump administration follows through on this proposal, that would mean more than 12,000 employees at the EPA would be laid off, and many of these are hardworking, dedicated public servants who live in Maryland. Do you support firing 75% of EPA employees?
Senator, offhand, I'm not even aware of a single person being fired during the first Trump administration at the EPA. That's not the same for other agencies. And by the way, there might have been someone. I'm just, haven't been told about it. I want to make sure that my job as EPA administrator is to increase productivity, is to make sure that we are efficient and accountable and transparent, that we are to you, not just myself as administrator, but our entire team, for us to be in the office, collaborative and productive.
All right. In a similar vein, I'd ask you about another issue, and that is removing EPA headquarters outside of Washington, D.C., and wonder whether or not you agree with that effort and the effort of moving them out of Washington, D.C., or whether you would oppose it.
Senator, no one has expressed to me in any setting since I was announced as nominee or before that of any plans with regards to moving the EPA headquarters out of D.C. I have not been involved in any conversation. I'm not aware of any conversation.
That's the time I have. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.